Aryna Sabalenka gets through a three-setter against Marketa Vondrousova, and she is through to the second week of the Australian Open for the second time. I am here with Mats, and Joe is back with us today. It's nice to have you back, Joe.
I'm happy to be back, bright and early.
Well, that was a very good face-off between two aggressive players today. What made the difference in the end, Joe?
You know what, for me, I think just the most impressive thing is just to see Aryna Sabalenka really working her way through the difficulties that she's obviously facing on her serve. I mean, at the end, she even made the little joke at herself there. And that's really great to see. I think it shows awareness, but it also shows good humour. And I think it's easier then to digest difficulties. So I think it's just great to see that.
She was way more composed today, Matt. She had been struggling to find her game and her rhythm, especially with the serve. Like, she's been talking about it in the post-match interview. Now that it's out there, maybe she feels more relaxed. But she felt more positive. It seems like she was more positive today.
Absolutely, and I think that she took more balls inside the baseline than she normally does, something like 42% inside the baseline. And I think it has something to do with playing a lefty. Vondrousova, the only lefty out of the last 32 in the women's draw, and she plays very lefty with the serve, and you have to be close to the baseline to cut the angles down. So great tactical move for Sabalenka, and maybe when you're thinking about tactics more than winning, you sometimes are a little bit more relaxed and you're more process-minded. So this was, for me, this is the best match that she's played, and very positive.
And Marketa Vondrousova is very, very impressive. She has a really good game. In my opinion, she has the game to be in the top 10. I don't know what you think, Joe. I know you've played her, but she's faced a lot of injuries as well. So.
She has been quite unfortunate with that. She's a very creative player, but also very awkward to play. I've been on court against her. I've won some, I've lost some. She's frustrating to play. She's a great athlete. She reads the ball well. She moves well, gets a lot of balls back. So against her, to be fair, I think Aryna actually has a good game to play because she can bring the pace, she can cut off the court, but she's tricky to play, and you have to accept winning the game. She's not going to lose it.
In what way is she tricky to play? Is it because you don't know what to expect or you can't read her game? What was that?
I think a bit of a combination. She's also a funny character when you look at her. She walks around like maybe she doesn't care so much, but she is fighting and she is caring very much. But also, I think just because she gets so many balls back and her leftiness, the ball's a bit awkward, it's just a lot to contend with and a lot of problem solving you have to do.
Now, Mats, we know that Aryna Sabalenka has reached the semis before in the Grand Slam. Could she be a Grand Slam winner this year? What is it going to take for her?
No, I think she can be a Grand Slam winner, for sure. I mean, it's usually up to Sabalenka every single match she plays. Okay, maybe not against somebody who's as crafty as Ash Barty, but against the other players. The problem is that you have to win 7 matches, and it's very difficult to play great for 7 matches. Can she play defense the day she doesn't play well is the question. So, yes, she's a future Grand Slam champion. When does it happen? It can happen this year. It can happen in 5 years, because I think the one thing that's never going to leave her is her spirit. As long as she's on tour, she's going to have the spirit. And she seems really good at playing the individual match. I mean, last year at the US Open was very disappointing for me. That was a big chance for her, but it seems like she's kind of over it. So, yeah, I think she has a good chance, but 7 matches, you just have to hope that the Monday sort of morning match that she's not playing well, that her opponent is not playing great, because then she's going to have a problem.
Now, who in the draw will be able to push her to put her in that defense position that Matt's talking about?
I mean, to be fair, like Matt said, I think Ash Barty is probably one of the trickiest opponents she could have, especially left in the draw. But the thing is, with women's tennis, and I think tennis in general, it's also a lot is on the day. There's certain matchups which are better than others, but I think it'll be interesting to see how players play on the day, and a lot then gets decided.
And it's really important for people to realize that the women's game has changed so much. I mean, 2 out of 3 sets, when everybody serves as well as they do today. That's why I'm so glad I didn't have to play 2 out of 3 sets in big matches. So it's much easier to play 3 out of 5. I hope people realize that, because the emotional ups and downs that you guys must have for the first hour, whereas we are like, okay, whatever, you take the first hour. So
I always wonder how that feels.
We don't have that. We're like, I want the first set.
Yeah, no, I know, exactly. But the women's game has changed so much, and the women are serving so well. You have to be lucky as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, Aryna Sabalenka will face Kaia Kanepi next. She was victorious over wildcard Madison Inglis today. tough start, but she really got it right. 6-2, 6-love. The next two sets went very fast, and she really overpowered Ingles.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we were actually talking about this with Matt in the back. Just Kai Kanepi's a really interesting player, how she's just been able to stay there for so long just because of her game style. She really has unbelievable weeks during the year and then some less so. But we were also laughing, I think, a match between her and Arena, that there might be some balls broken again just from the power.
Yes.
But Kaya Kanepi also came back from injury. I think she stopped for a while and she started back from zero. She's one of those we were talking about, Matt, like so much passion at this age, wanted to come back. Like also Zvonareva. Now she's, I mean...
But she has a more modern game than Zvonareva,
yes.
for sure. I mean, Kaya Kanepi was one of the hardest hitters 15 years ago, basically, and she still is one of the hardest hitters. So, and this is what we're talking about. This is a very dangerous match for Sabalenka, because if Kanepi plays well, you have to do something to create, because she actually hits the ball nearly as hard as Sabalenka, and she most probably moves better than Sabalenka, but of course doesn't have the confidence.
It's inspiring for all you guys out there that want to do something and want to be the best that you can be. Just never give up, because you never know what can happen. You never know who you can inspire and who you can influence.